Welcome back, everybody, to another in my aviation history series, and this is episode 20 in my history of RCAF units. Now today we're going to be looking at 417 Squadron. From its start in World War II as a fighter unit to today as a base search and rescue unit, the units had an on-again, off-again history. But before we get too far into this, my name is Sean, and this is Sean's Aviation. Now, before we get too far into this video, I just want to say thank you to everybody out there who is watching this video and this channel. Now, if you haven't yet, and you do like the content you're seeing, please go down below, hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell. The like, the subscribe, that'll just help the YouTube analytics push my videos out to more people who would be interested in these videos and just allow this channel to grow. The notification bell will let you guys know when I release new videos. I usually do 4 or 5 a month depending on my content and how busy I am with the rest of my life. Also, if there's anybody out there who would like to help out in a little bit more of a concrete way, down below you'll see a link to my coffee account. You can go buy me a coffee. I almost always have one. Today's no exception, drinking a coffee. So by all means, hop over there, buy me a coffee, allow me to help offset some of the costs of this channel, but please don't feel obligated. I'm not begging for money. I do what I do because I love doing it, and I'm just taking you guys along for the ride while I go. All that being said, let's hop right into this. We'll take a look at the history of 417 Squadron. 417 Squadron was formed on November 27th of 1941 at Army-Down as RCAF's 7th Overseas Fighter Unit. It was assigned the Squadron Code AN, was part of 10 Group, and received their first aircraft, Spitfire Mark IIAs and 2Bs, that month, and began training up for operations. On January 27th, the unit started to relocate to Cologne, but it seems like the unit was partially located at both bases. In February of 1942, the unit re-equipped with the Spitfire Mark V-B and flew their first operations that month, on February 17th, from Army-Down. It was an uneventful scramble, and all aircraft returned to base. It was very difficult to find pictures of these early war 417 Spitfires, so I have just used some generic pictures. On February 25th, the unit was moved over to 14 Group and relocated to Tain, Scotland, and was here till April 12th. The unit was selected to be part of the African campaign, and the unit began to pack up and move to Egypt. The unit was in theater by June 3rd, 1942, and were initially based at Kasferit. Unfortunately, the RAF had no spare aircraft for the unit, and the pilots were used for ferry duties until aircraft could be acquired. On July 18th, the unit moved to Devissoir, and on September 5th, moved to Chandour. It was here that the unit finally received their first aircraft, Hurricane Mark IIB and 2Cs. Again, it's hard to find pictures of these aircraft, but I did manage to find a couple. On October 10th, the unit moved to Idku and retired the Mark IIBs, flying only the Mark IICs. While the unit was officially based here, they had detachments located at Cairo, Al Kufra, Cyprus, the Libyan desert, and Benghazi at various times. On September 26th, the unit scored its first victory when Flight Sergeant Kegurier shot down a Junkers 88 in a Hurricane Mark IIC. During October, the unit began receiving their first Spitfire Mark V-B and 5Cs again, most of these being the tropicalized version. On January 1943, all the Hurricanes were retired. During this time, they flew defensive patrols protecting the Suez Canal and the Nile Delta. Also in January of 1943, the unit moved to Alexandria, being based at Landing Ground 175, but were only there for a short time as the unit was being transferred to Libya to take part in combat in the Western Desert. By February 19th, the unit was on site at their new base at Castel Benito and ready for operations. On February 28th, the unit moved again to Malaha in Tripoli, but also had detachments at Ben Gardan, Tunisia at various times. On March 24th, the unit flew its first offensive mission when 8 Spitfires flew escort for a force of 18 Baltimore bombers. On April 12th, the entire unit was relocated to Ben Gardan, although once again this did not last long. On April 15th, the unit was moved over to the Desert Air Force, the only Canadian unit to be assigned here. It flew with 244 wing as part of 211 Group. They were initially based at Goubrain, Tunisia, but similar to the situation in Europe, the front line in the Western Desert and into Italy was moving fast, and the unit moved frequently to stay near the action. The bases they were located at were as follows: As I mentioned, April 15th, Goubrain, Tunisia. May 6th, Hergla, Tunisia. May 15th, Ben Gardain. June 15th, Luga, Malta, in support of the Sicily landings. July 16th, Casabili, Sicily. July 26th, Lentini, Sicily. September 19th, Grottaghile, Italy. September 25th, Ghiora del Colle, Italy. October 5th, Foggia, Italy. October 18th, Triolo, Italy. November 26th, Cannes, Italy. January 17th of 1944, at the Marcianese landing grounds in Anzio in support of the Anzio landings. April 24th, Venafro, Italy. June 13th, Littorio, Italy. June 17th, Fabricia, Italy. July 4th, Perugia, Italy. August 26th, Loreto, Italy. September 5th, Fano, Italy. And finally on December 5th, Balearia, Italy. While based at Lentini, Sicily during August of 1943, the unit began to upgrade to the Spitfire Mark 8, the only RCAF unit to fly these. Now, as a quick aside, the Mark 8 was planned to be the main production model, while the Mark 9 was simply an interim re-engined Mark 5. When the Mark 9 was shown to be more than enough, the Mark 8 was pushed aside and only relatively small amounts, approximately 1,600, were built and were mostly used in the Mediterranean, Middle East, and Pacific theaters. They can easily be identified by the retractable tail wheel, and some early ones had extended pointy wingtips. By September of 1943, all the earlier Mark 5s were retired, and they flew only the Mark 8. In April of 1945, the unit began to replace the Mark 8 with the Mark 9, and on May 4th, they moved to Treviso, Italy. They stayed here until they were disbanded on June 30th of 1945. They flew their final mission on May 5th when two Mark 9s flew an uneventful patrol in the Austro-Italian Alps. During World War II, the unit flew 12,116 sorties, with 11 of those being in England, amassing a total of 15,088 operational flying hours. They were credited with 29 aircraft destroyed, 8 probable, and 22 damaged. They dropped 1,080 tons of bombs and were credited with 11 locomotives destroyed with 111 damaged, 64 freight cars destroyed with 261 damaged, 14 passenger cars destroyed with 27 damaged, 79 motor vehicles destroyed with 137 damaged, 7 tanks destroyed with 11 damaged, and 6 barges destroyed with 18 damaged. They suffered 32 aircraft lost, with 7 pilots killed, 11 presumed dead, 8 POWs, and 2 who evaded capture. The unit was quickly reformed in the post-war years on June 1st of 1947 at Rivers, Manitoba as a fighter reconnaissance unit and assigned the code AT. It flew Harvard Mark IIs and Mustang fighters in this role until it was disbanded just 14 months later in August of 1948. The unit was inactive for a good portion of time, not being reactivated until 1970 at CFB Cold Lake as an operational training unit for the CF-104. It continued this role until 1983 when the CF-104 was retired. On April 1st of 1993, the unit was reactivated again at CFB Cold Lake, taking over the role of base flight. It flew CH-118 Iroquois helicopters in search and rescue roles and CT-133 Silver Star in pilot currency and maintenance programs. In 1995, the CH-118s were replaced by the CH-146 Griffin, and in 2001, the CT-133s were retired, leaving only 3 CH-146s.
So today, 417 Squadron continues to support CFB Cold Lake in the search and rescue duties with the CH-146 Griffin. On top of that, they're also responsible for servicing any transient aircraft that happen to visit the base, as well as any de-icing needs at that location. Now, while 417 might not have as flashy a job as other units in the RCAF, their job is vital to the continuing operation of CFB Cold Lake, and hopefully we see them for many, many years to come. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Thank you for watching, guys, and as always, if you are interested in any of the content you see, you can access my website at www.seans-aviation.com. You can see all the latest pictures of aircraft and museums and the build logs of all of my current models and past models on that site. And if you're interested in any of this content, please click the subscribe button here on YouTube to follow more. Thank you very much, and see you guys next time.